Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me today for this brief introduction to an online meditation program that I'm happy to be offering. This is entitled Abiding in Kindness, Compassion, Joy, and Equanimity. This is a 12-week immersive online meditation program. It runs from the 1st of October to December 21st this year, 2024. And so I've prepared a PowerPoint presentation, and I'll just move us through the slides and speak to each slide as we go as a way of introducing the course. So I hope you enjoy. So if you are familiar with the Buddhist tradition, you would recognize loving kindness, compassion, joy, equanimity as the Brahma Viharas, or in some traditions it's known as the Four Immeasurable Minds, or the Four Divine Abodes of the Heart. And I do want to point out here that for me, I translate metta not as loving kindness, because I find that to be quite loaded, particularly the word love. So I translate it simply as kindness, but I'll speak a little bit more to that as the presentation unfolds. So today in the presentation, I'm just going to go through each one individually and spend a few minutes on each one. So first, with kindness. And as a way of getting into that, I would like to go ahead and read what's known as the Metta Sutta. Metta is a Sanskrit word, or the Pali word. Pali was the language spoken by the Buddha. And it translates into, the way I'm translating is kindness, but generally often translated as loving kindness or loving friendliness. Here's the Metta Sutta. This is what should be done. By those who are skilled in goodness and who know the path of peace, let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they be weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the medium, the mighty, the short or the small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward through the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, is freed from all sense desire and free from repetitive existence. Ooh. I've been reading that for many, many years, and I still get chills every time. Sometimes I get a little teary, which was happening there. I don't know if that came across, but anyway, I hope that landed for you all as well as it does for me. And so in the first 3 weeks of the course, we're going to be exploring a set of practices that allow us to cultivate that type of kindness, that type of boundless friendliness towards ourself and towards all other beings, the great, the mighty, the medium, the short to the small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. So there are several ways of translating metta, the Sanskrit word metta. Loving kindness is the traditional way, unconditional kindness, unconditional friendliness, unconditional safety, unconditional welcoming, and unconditional ease toward ourselves, towards others, and towards everyone. And it's not that metta is better translated as kindness or friendliness or loving kindness. It's just that it means all of these. And so when we have the list of several definitions, we get kind of a well-rounded taste of what that word metta is really pointing at. And in one place in the early Pali Canon, the teachings of the Buddha invites us to make kindness a dwelling, or make metta a dwelling. And so I thought that was an interesting invitation. And so I went ahead and listed a few of the raw materials that might go into constructing a dwelling made of kindness. And so again, we'll be exploring multiple practices so that we can start to bring these raw materials together to build our own kindness abode. Moving on to compassion here, and the way I'm defining compassion here in the Course is the heart that trembles in the face of suffering, the heart that trembles in the face of distress. Right? And if you can even, just now as I'm talking, thinking about a moment in time when you were in front of a person who was really struggling. You may have felt that quivering of the heart like that. Now, when we can meet that quivering of the heart with openness and wisdom, then we move forward to alleviate that struggle, and that's compassionate action. Now, unfortunately, because that quivering of the heart can be frightening for many people, oftentimes people move into a type of reactivity. Close down the heart, or shut down, or move in fear or aversion. And so in the second set of 3 weeks, I guess week 4, 5, and 6 in the Course, we're going to be exploring practices that allow us to remain open in the face of suffering of others. So we can first notice that trembling of the heart, and then move forward to answer the call of that trembling. So you can start to perhaps get a flavor here. So we start the Course with kindness, and one of the phrases of kindness that's often used, we offer to our own heart and to the hearts of others, may I know kindness and the causes of kindness. And then the phrase that's traditionally offered with compassion is, may I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. So I often get the question, well, what's the difference between kindness and compassion? And right here, if you just say those phrases back and forth, may I know happiness and the causes of happiness. May I know suffering, or may I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I know happiness and the causes of happiness. Really feel that. It's kind of a bright, may I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. It's kind of yeah. Right? So we can get a kind of a felt experience of the difference between kindness and compassion there. And, compassion and joy too are very directly related. Compassion, it allows us to hold space for our own struggles and the struggles of others. And in that space of compassion, healing can occur. So it's said that compassion is the heart that trembles in the face of suffering. And joy is the heart that trembles in the face of what's beautiful. And here again, maybe we can get just a taste of that felt experience. You might think of something beautiful and notice how the heart trembles. Yeah, that's joy. Yeah. And so I won't speak too much about joy here. We can get a hit of the change of the colors between the Brahma Viharas here. So first, on the first slide here, may I enjoy the activities of life itself. Just feel what that feels like. And the compassion phrase, may I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Oh. May I know happiness and the causes of happiness. Ah. And so, we can start to get a taste of how these are very similar, but the flavor, the texture, the felt experience is a little bit different with each of the Brahma Viharas. So one way of thinking about that or framing that, you might frame like wisdom is like the sun, right? And I have a prism here. I'm holding the prism of the Brahma Viharas. And if I hold the prism up this way, the sun shining down, that creates a rainbow effect, right? Let's say that's the rainbow effect of joy. And then I shift the prism just a little bit. It's the same wisdom shining through the same prism, but just at a different angle. And now that rainbow light casts the light of compassion. And then I shift that prism just a little bit more, that wisdom, same wisdom coming into the prism, but now I get the rainbow light of kindness. Okay, and here are some of the phrases, here's the phrases with the equanimity phrase included. So here we get the same effect with all four of the Brahma Viharas. And so I'll just read through it, see if you can feel or sense the shifting rainbow effect. So the equanimity phrase, may I be free from preference and prejudice. May I be free from preference and prejudice. A state of non-judgment. May I enjoy the activities of life itself. May I enjoy the activities of life itself. May I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I know happiness and the causes of happiness. Yay. So I haven't spoken much to equanimity yet, and so I think I'll be doing that now. And so equanimity is kind of an odd word. We don't hear it very often unless you're in a course like this or studying mindfulness or Buddhism. So many, many different ways of thinking about equanimity, experiencing life just as it is without any overlay of concepts. Experiencing life free from preference and prejudice. Not that we can't have our preferences and our prejudices, but we hold them much looser so that we're not so attached to them. To stand in the middle of, to in a sense, hold our seat in the midst of challenges. Equanimity is often synonymous with the middle way. finding our balance in between two extremes. The extremes that are often cited in the tradition is the extreme of self-mortification and self-indulgence, but it can be any two extremes, light or dark, hot or cold, so forth. Equanimity is also said to be a non-reactive space, a way of being in the midst of a situation and not reacting when things get challenging, equally not reacting when things get calm and peaceful. Often equanimity is used synonymous with nirvana and enlightenment. I won't go too much into defining enlightenment or nirvana here, because that's a whole another 8-week course. And, we've talked about kindness, compassion, joy, equanimity. These are 4 really wonderful, qualities to cultivate. And in the course, we will be accessing practices that come from neuroplasticity, so that we can take the passing states of kindness, compassion, equanimity, and joy and install them into the nervous system so that they become permanent traits. We simply become kinder, more compassionate, more joyful, and more equanimous beings as we access these practices more and more. So some of the tools we will be accessing, I'll be drawing very heavily from the Theravada Buddhist tradition, also the Mahayana Buddhist tradition. I've trained quite deeply in both. I'll be drawing from positive psychology and Buddhist psychology, neuroplasticity, which I just mentioned. Everything that I offer is offered within a trauma-sensitive framework. I myself am a certified clinical trauma professional, so I'm quite deeply trained in trauma-sensitive practices, and everything that I offer is secular. I will be drawing very heavily on the Buddhist traditions because that's where my training is for the most part, but I would never prefer, or I don't preach any religion. So people from all walks of life, all faiths, everyone's welcome. Who benefits from a course like this? Anyone who is interested in cultivating a type of circle of care for ourselves and then widening that circle of care for others. People of any meditation experience, you might be just beginning a practice, or you may have been meditating for many, many years. Everyone can benefit from this course, any level of experience. So just to kind of sum up what we've covered here, again, the course is entitled Abiding in Kindness, Compassion, Joy, and Equanimity. It's a 12-week online immersive program. We launch on October 1st, and it runs through December 21st. Everything is offered live. Nothing is pre-recorded. The sessions will be recorded, though, because I know people will be missing some sessions and things like that. Those sessions will be made available, the recordings will be made available only to the participants. And so we are very much holding our community agreements and the word that I'm looking for. We can feel free to speak very openly without worrying that it will be heard by people who aren't in the program. Confidentiality agreement, that's what I was looking for. So there's 2 sections, and that's really to cater to people from all over the world. Section A will meet on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. East Coast time. Section B will meet on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 7:30 to 9 p.m. East Coast time. When this course is launched, I will be residing in a country that doesn't observe daylight savings. So if you're in a country that does observe daylight savings, the time will change for you. So please take that into account when you're registering. I think daylight savings, the time changes the first week of November. The website for more information and to register, suchsweetthunder.org. It's right there on the slide. Also, you could email me if you have my email address. If you don't, it's my name, Chris Luard, Luard, @yahoo.com. You could also message me through Messenger if we're connected in that way, or Instagram, just to let me know, yeah, I'm ready to register, and we'll get you set up. Thank you again for joining me, and I will go ahead and ring the bell to close out our session. Thank you.